वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay, let's go and start our Parayan. Let me see. Okay. Nobody came inside. Nobody came inside. I will tell you if it works. Okay. Chapter 2 and Slok 55. So let's start. You guys are good there? Both of you have the books?
Yep.
Okay. Open? Okay. You ready here?
54, 55.
59. Okay. Ready.
Shri Bhagwan Uvacha
प्रजाहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्ट स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदुच्यते दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वितरागभयक्रोध स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहस्तत्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभं नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यदा संहरते चायं कुर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चिता इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत् मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधः भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषवियुक्तेषु विषयानिन्द्रियेषु आत्मवश्यर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते नास्ति बुद्धिर्युक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयते शान्ते अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतां यन्मनो नु विधीयते
तदस्य हरिति प्रम्यं वायुर्नावमिवाम्बसि तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमे यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने आपूर्यमाणमचलं प्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी विहाय कामया सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कार स शान्तिमधिगच्छति एष ब्रह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनं प्राप्य विमुह्यते स्थित्वास्य युञ्जामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमुच्यते।
कुछ एक गिलास पानी ला देना। Okay. We'll directly jump into the meditation now. Faster, Raja. Hi, Alia.
Hi.
Okay. We are ready to jump. Thank you. Okay. Ready? Okay guys, so again we're gonna do the breathing, control of breathing, and then we will jump directly into meditation. Okay, everybody knows the drill, so let's have one nostril working and then the other nostril. So breathing from one, taking out from the other, breathing from another, taking out from another. Okay, so let's start, and then as soon as we do 10, automatically jump into meditation. Try to focus, and we will bring the focus to either your Ishtadevta or whatever object you want to focus on. Okay, so keep one thought rather than dispersing in many thoughts. So we're going to concentrate on one thought, and it could be any thought. I don't want you to be restricted, because slowly we will get to that point where we will have one thought. But the most beautiful thought is thinking about our Ishtadevta, right? So let's keep that thought, one thought, and then concentrate on it. Okay, ready? Let's start. is a big lake in front of us, where there are many ripples and waves coming that are thoughts. So imagine our mind a big lake where all the thoughts are making waves in it. Because of that many thoughts, that many waves, we cannot see the bottom of the lake. So we cannot see deep inside us. There are many thoughts. So let's try to bring as less thoughts as possible. And just pick one flower, one lotus from that lake, and put our Ishtadevata on that lotus and place it in our heart, the heart cage where Ishtadevata is sitting inside us. And then have our entire focus on that Ishtadevata sitting inside us. Focus on how he looks when he or she is sitting inside us on that beautiful pink lotus. If your focus goes away from that, try to bring it back. Recognize that the focus is going away and bring it back to the same place. Slowly open your eyes. Okay. Did you guys feel a little better? Are we doing better than the day one we started? Any improvement? A little bit? Somewhat? Okay. So today is our last class for chapter 6, right? And probably could be a last class before your summer break, because I know next week a lot of kids are going away and summer break is starting. So we'll communicate with your parents and see what days you guys are in town and what days you can attend. Based on it, we will try to make, I would love to continue the classes in the summer too, but I understand that you guys are not in town or somewhere, so I will keep that in mind. But this would be right now is officially the last class before the next session starts. But again, we'll do something. So every summer we plan a play and stuff like that. So we'll see how we can continue to do the classes, or we will take a break. Okay, it's not decided yet. Now, with the 6th chapter, let's bring the entire 6th chapter together today to figure out, what did we learn. And just to let you guys know that a lot of commentator has divided Gita into 3 sections, right? So we have done the first section because it's 3 sections. The first is chapter 1 to chapter 6. Then the second one is chapter 7 to 12. And then the third section is chapter 13 to 18, and it is divided it is divided for a reason. How it is divided is, when we say that you are that, when this Mahavakya means the special sentence that was given by our Rishi, you are that, that's what Gita is. You, what are you? So what are you? What are us? What are we? That is explained in first 6th chapter. So what are we is from chapter 1, when Krishna is in Vishad Yoga. Then chapter 2, when Krishna Bhagavan explained everything about what are we. Chapter 3, 4, 5 talks about Karma Yoga and Sannyas, and chapter 6 talks about meditation, right? So that's how everything is given. What are you? It explains what are we. Like, we are this consciousness, not thinking about body, mind and intellect, but how to reach to that consciousness, to that ultimate goal. That's what the whole process is in first 6th chapter. Then from 7th to 12th, it explains what is He, what is God. So there are Saguna Brahman and Nirgun Bhagavan explained in next 6 chapters. So from chapter 7 to chapter 12, we will understand what is He, right? What is God? So that's what it is. And then the last 6 chapter, which is 13 to 18, that explains what is the connection, or what is the identification of what are you, like what, you are that. So that sentence ultimately finishes in the last 6th chapter, which is from 13 to 18. So congratulations to us, all of us, that we have finished the 1/3 part of the Gita today. And then we will start next from the next part, which we will get to slowly. Krishna Bhagavan will come to the point where he is going to be explaining God. So that's what we're going to see. The lot of bhakti yoga and all those things will come in the next section. But the first section, we got to know what are we. So now we should be very clear by end of today that what are we? What are we? Am I Sonal? Or am I something else? Am I beyond that? Am I this body, mind, or intellect? Or I am beyond that? So we got all these answers, and everybody should know. If somebody asks you on the spiritual path, what are you? You should know what are you, right? So we have finished that by finishing this chapter 6. So you guys all have studied chapter 6. Now I will ask you some questions, because I would like to know what you learn out of it, and then I will explain the summary. So if you guys can pick 1 or 2 things what you learn out of this chapter, I would appreciate if you guys can share with me. So this chapter name is meditation. We did the Dhyana Yoga chapter. So now what did you get out of this chapter? So let's quickly go over that, and then we will start. I will summarize the whole chapter. So who wants to go first? Reha, you want to go first, Raja?
Can I say no?
I think you don't have an option for that. Everybody will say something, right? So how about you start? It's meditation, so you can say something about it.
Okay, what exactly do I have to say?
Anything, like what did you learn out of this sixth chapter? Anything that you remember that hit you while we were doing the sixth chapter? Anything
I
that
just
you
feel like
remember?
I learned, like I used to think that meditation was only about like sitting quietly somewhere, and I always had a really hard time with clearing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would get really lost, and then I would just end up not liking it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's different because like we learned about the breathing and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's more to it than just sitting somewhere quietly,
Yeah.
which that's I learned.
That's true. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So what about Risha? You want to go next, Raja?
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 second. So I learned like about like a sannyasi
Uh-huh.
and how they're like a renounced person.
Uh-huh.
Like they renounce themselves from like worldly attachments.
Mm-hmm. Worldly attachment, you meant?
Yeah, and they're not attached to like the results of their duties.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what impression did you got in while studying this chapter? Like anything that you got to, hey, this is what I learned and I want to do this, or this is what changed my thought process, or anything like that?
Oh, I learned how to like control my mind and stuff and stay focused.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. You want to say something, Krish?
Sure.
Yeah.
I learned like how to meditate, or like how to prepare myself for meditation. I didn't realize that like you can just like sit down and do whatever, right? Like just start it. Like you have to like get into the mindset and like prepare yourself, and like he like Krishna outlined like a lot of things at the start of the chapter as to how to like start meditating. Then also I learned how to like I guess bring back my mind when which is like the biggest problem that like I guess like me and most people have when meditating. So it kind of like changed my like view on meditating. Instead of just like going into it like I need to sit down for 5 minutes and like just like do nothing, to instead like prepare myself for meditation and have like a specific goal while I'm meditating as to what I'm going to think about or like what I should be working towards.
Okay. Okay. Alia, you want to share, Raja, anything?
I learned like how to like meditate like on one thing. So trying to focus on one object.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so one as you brought like one thought, going down to not thinking about so many things, just bringing your focus to one thought, right? That's what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So yeah, I will also share with you guys that I learned a lot out of this chapter too while we were all studying together. It's which you guys already mentioned, that it's not just going and sitting and closing your eyes and just saying okay, and also not just thinking about okay, let's get a right time, right position. It's a lot more to do to it. The most thing that hit me hard in this chapter was just not you cannot just leave the desire outside, like okay, I'm not gonna renouncing, like I did not renounce everything, but even at the thought level also you have to renounce it, not just the physical level. So if you think about it, like if I have even a thought of getting something, that is also I'm actually not renouncing that thing. Like let's say I got a desire of buying a pretty jewelry, right? And if that thought also came, that is also not renouncing that object. So even if I don't buy it, let's say I resist it, but that's not the renunciation. If I resist not buying it, if I resist thinking about it, then it is more renunciation. Like, the worldly thing, it's not just not doing something because, oh, you know what, I have to stay away from there, I have to do this thing less, I should not do these things. I'm renouncing the world and trying to meditate and stuff like that. But till the thought level you don't go, until that time you have not renounced the thing, right? So the desires are gonna come as soon as the thought comes. So practicing that is a most important thing for me at this moment. How can I practice to that level where the desires even don't come in the thought? Like, the sanskara doesn't even develop that thing. That's what I want to practice, and definitely meditation for a longer time rather than doing it for a few seconds and then the focus goes away and then bring it back. But I think practicing, that's another thing that I want to discipline on, practicing it. Even if I do for 5 minutes, I definitely want to do it every single day, because Krishna Bhagavan at the end said that you have to practice it. Without practicing, nothing can come, right? So that's one thing that I feel like as I started a little bit practicing it, I think it's getting better and better. And I now look forward for doing it. Before it was like, do I have to do it? Like, my mind goes everywhere. It doesn't work. Why do I have to do it? But now slowly by practicing it the way Krishna Bhagavan taught us in this chapter, it's becoming more, I'm looking forward for it now. So that's one thing I enjoyed in this chapter. Like, it definitely break down my fear of sitting in meditation. It was always a fear, like my mind will go everywhere, I will not be quiet, and how can I should not do it because I'm not doing it right. It's a waste of time. So all that fear is gone away from me. And I think it's getting better every day. That's what this chapter taught me. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so let's do a quick review of this chapter, which I think it's very important for all of us, because a lot of things we did it like about 6 months ago. So let's put everything together so we can we can definitely keep keep this chapter with us for all our life. That's what we'll say, because last slok that Krishna Bhagavan said is very important. So we want to not last but second last, so we need to remember how it was, right? So let's start with the initial part. So initially God talk about he starts with saying, what was the first thing he said in this chapter? Do you remember that? Anybody remember what was the first thing he said? He said, first of all, let's go over the topics that are in this chapter. Does anybody wrote it down, like the 6 topics that we that were described in this chapter, the 6 points? Anybody has that? I will quickly go over if you guys don't have it. You have it? Okay, say number 1.
An active yogi rises to an enlightened jnani.
So yogi going to jnani. Yogi here, he mentioned about karma yoga. So yogi going to jnani, right? Those are the first 1 to 9 sloks, right? Okay. Then second,
external and internal disciplines for meditation.
Okay, so external and internal. So he talks about where to sit, what to do, and everything between 10 to 18. Up to chapter 6. Chapter 6. Chapter 6.
Controlled minds remains peaceful.
Okay, so now he is talking about when you are in meditation, the characteristics of meditation. After you are in samadhi or you have learned meditation, what he is saying, that controlled mind rise to peacefulness. Okay, next. That is from 19 to 24, I guess, right? Am I right? Okay. Yeah.
Meditation reveals self in one and all.
Okay, so meditation reveals self in one and one in all. That was the all being in self and self in all beings, right? So that whole chapter, it talks about like what do you get out of meditation, right? So those are from slok 4?
25 to 32.
25 through 32. Okay. Then number 5.
Can a restless mind be controlled?
Okay, can a restless mind be controlled? This is Arjun asking, right? Am I restless? I'm this. Can it be controlled? Can I do meditation? Right? That is from 33 to 39. Right? And the last one is when Krishna Bhagavan says,
Yogi unites with Brahman.
okay, now yogi unites with Brahman. So the person is ready to do meditation, right? So that one is from 40 to 47. Right? Okay. So let's talk about that. So the first Krishna Bhagavan starts saying that Karma Yogi has to, the person who can do meditation, start doing meditation, has to do Karma Yoga first, right? So the Karma Yogi is the only one who can get next level is sannyasi. And you all remember that I think last class also I discussed those 4 that metrics that we talk about. So if you have impure mind, so first thing you have to do is you have to make it pure, right? Simple. What is the solution of it? Making pure mind. And how do you make it? Anybody from online? How do you make impure mind to pure mind? What practice do you do? Do you guys remember? What was the practice we do? Anybody remember that? Karma Yoga. Right? When your mind is impure, to make it pure, you have to do Karma Yoga. Then, restless mind, which Krishna Bhagavan explained everything in this chapter, right? Restless mind. What do you do? Meditation. Concentration of mind. Restless and scattered mind, we talk about that. So meditation, it is actually the practice is meditation. The problem that we have to solve is concentrated mind. And the practice is meditation. With concentrated and pure mind, what happens? The problem, what is it? Ignorance. And what happens is you can get knowledge. And the knowledge only comes when these 2 steps are done. That's the only time we can realize it. So this is this and this is Jnana Yoga. This is Dhyana Yoga. So Krishna Bhagavan starts this chapter by talking about Karma Yoga first, right? So Karma Yoga, you know what? Dedicating the yoga to, dedicating all the actions to God, or doing all the actions selflessly, right? Doing the selflessly actions that are Karma Yoga. So when we do that, so what happens is we have this mindset of what? Prasad Buddhi. You remember that Prasad Buddhi? Right? So whatever happens, right? It's God's wish. But we have to do action, 100% actions, right? We do the action and whatever result come, that is Prasad Buddhi. That's God gift to us, right? If it is bad, if it is good, it doesn't matter to us. We still have it. Get it? So that's that. Then the restless and scattered mind come. Concentration is the solution to it. And what is the practice? Meditation. So that's what we are. So Krishna Bhagavan says that only Karma Yogi can go to Dhyana Yoga, right? If the person is not have done Karma Yoga and sit down and do the Dhyan, which I think we tried, right? Without doing Karma Yoga, we tried to sit down for 5-10 minutes just to sit down and close our eyes. It didn't work. Why it didn't work? Because our mind was not purified. Our mind has to be purified to go to this level, right? So that's what Krishna Bhagavan in first couple shlok he explained it very well, that you have to make sure that you do Karma Yoga and then go to Jnana Yoga. So that's what it is. Then he talks about two different separate structure of spiritual path, right? If you just started here, right, then you have to do a lot of actions, right? If you are here, you already started, you are here, then you don't have to do action. Renunciation of action comes, right? Then what you start saying? I don't do anything. Who does it? Right? I don't do any actions. That stage come right here. It doesn't come here. Here, when you are just starting as a seeker, so you remember that Arurudha and Aruraksho, we talk about that. So that one, if you are climbing a horse, what do you have to do? You have to put a lot of force and energy to climb the horse, right? So you have to put energy, so you have to do actions. But if you are already on the horse, right, and you are riding, then do you have to do too much of actions? No, you are sitting and the horse is going, right? You don't have to do too much of action at that time. But when you are climbing, you have to do a lot of action. So if you are at the stage of seeker, then what you have to do? A lot of actions, right? You have to do karma yoga, a lot of karma yoga. But when you are already have done karma yoga, then what happens? You become, you focus on inaction, right? Then you become, hey, I don't do anything, God does everything, and I'm giving back to God, and you become to the sannyasi position, right? So that's the conversion happen. So whatever stage we are in, we started with karma yoga, right? So we are actually the seeker. We have to do a lot of action. So we are in that stage where we do a lot of action. But when we reach to our top of the horse, then we don't have to do the action. That's what Krishna Bhagavan explained us, right? Then he talks about that just not renunciation the object, but also the thought of the object we have to renounce, right? So when we talk about it, that hey, I need to study a lot today, tomorrow I have an exam, I need to study a lot, but then there is a show that I'm watching every day, right? I want to study, but I'm not watching the show, but I'm thinking about it, right? Oh, I need to watch it. Oh, what's going to happen in that show? Oh, next episode, what happened, right? Now we did not watch the show, right? We did not watch the show, so the object was not there. What did you guys were able to study well without that object? Even if you did not look at the object, did you 100% concentrate on your studies? No, because what's happening? The thought of that object is still there, right? So God explained it, even the thought, not what I was saying, that what hit me most hard was this one, that even the thought has to go away of that desire, right? Otherwise what happens if the thought is there, then you have doing it and just thinking about it is the same thing for us, right? So even if you did not watch the show and thought about it, we still did it, right? So that's what God explained, that it has to be gone from the thought also, right? Then he talks about that we talked about Sankalpa, right? Then he talks about, this is a beautiful shlok number 5. He said, man lifts himself by himself and let not lower himself, right? So he talks about mind alone is your friend and mind alone is your enemy, right? You remember that shlok? So here he asked to make the change in your thoughts, right? He's not saying that you go sit down and do meditation. This is physically you are changing, but you are not changing the thoughts. What he's saying that you can only do meditation when your thought process, your mindset is changed. Like, the man himself lift by himself, right? And not lower yourself down. So first of all, you have to lift yourself up from all these other thoughts that you are thinking. So change up your thought process, right? So that's what he's saying, that if you really want to get into meditation, you have to change your thought process, right? And then what he mentioned is your mind is your best friend, and your mind itself is your worst enemy. And in next slok, he explains what kind of mind is your best friend and what kind of mind is your worst enemy. So the mind that is conquered is the best friend. Like when you are whatever you want to think, if your mind start thinking you, if you are the slave of the mind, then mind will take you everywhere. But if you make slave mind, you make mind your slave, then you have control on it, you have conquered it, right? So think about it. You need to always look into this thing. Are you the slave of the mind, or mind is the slave for you, right? Because this is very important part. You, not just in Gita class, but in your life, this will drive you. If your mind has control over you, then you have to let it go, right? It will take you everywhere. You have to go with it, because you already got slaved to the mind. So that's why then you don't have control on anything. You will do whatever mind said, and mind has a way to go to the wrong side easier, right? It looks more tempting. You will like to go there, and you will feel like, oh, okay, this is more enjoyment. Let me do this, because mind needs something enjoying, right? So then mind, if you cannot control the mind, then the mind is your worst enemy. That's what Krishna Bhagavan says, and it's very important for every single person. If my mind keep going to that direction, and if I don't stop it, if I don't control it, then it's going to keep going, and I will be pulled there, right? If I control my mind and say, no, I need to not think about that show anymore because I have to study, then your mind is your best friend, right? So that's what a big thing to know, that your it's very easy to surrender to mind, but you have to say, no, you are my slave. Wherever I tell you, you go. Wherever I not want you to go, don't go. So if you have that power, you can do the meditation, right? So then he talks about so mind, when the mind is controlled and peaceful, then what happens is, then you can control the both sides. Success and failure comes, pleasure and sorrow comes. You can still handle those things if your mind is in control, and if you are in peace. The mind, if controlled, then you're peaceful, and then you can control all these negative and positive things coming. It will not distract you anymore, right? Because you are control of mind. So Jitatma, he said, so whatever going outside will not matter to you if your mind is in control. Because what happens is, all the sense object will give the signal to our mind, and when they see this whole thing, world, and then what happens is, we start working according to the world, according to the objects of the world, right? So that signal that comes from our sense object, they will keep coming. You cannot stop it, right? The signal will come. But if mind start listening to the sense object, sense organs, and sense organ will look at the sense object, then it will go. But when the sense object sends a signal to the mind, but mind is in your control, what would you say? No, I don't want to see that, or I don't want to hear that, or I don't want to go there, I don't want to walk there, I don't want to think about it. So those things will come when, so all these outside world thing will not impact you much if you have mind in your control, right? Then he talks about how yogi who is satisfied with knowledge and wisdom, who remains unshaken, who is conquered to the senses. Okay, so for this he give an example, like the person who is at that level, you can figure it out by an example, saying that the lump of this gold, a lump of earth, gold or stone, everything will be same for this person. It doesn't matter, right? So whatever goes outside, it doesn't matter. So the gold will not shine too much for them, and the lump of clay or lump of earth will make no difference to them, right? Okay, so then he explains, next shlok, he explains 9 kind of different relationship that we go through in our life, right? There are like a well-wisher, a good friend, a person who is not good to you, a person who is like it was so many relationship, like your enemy, your not well-wisher. So you will get all those kind of relationship in your life, right? There will be people who will not like you, or there will be people who will like you. So there are so many, but this person who has controlled his mind, all these relationships are same for them. Even if the person who loved you the most or who hates you the most, doesn't matter to you, right? It doesn't matter, because what you're going to do, you're going to treat them the same way, right? So when you treat them the same way, it doesn't matter to you, and you treat, so that's what this person will do, right? So that's how he explained. Now he talks about characteristics of this. First he talks about how practices of meditation, right? So we all know that you guys know very well, like desha, kala, what time, what place we should be doing. So you remember we talk about it, that it's better to do first thing in the morning, right, between when the day is coming out, and in the evening when day is going down. So those are the times when meditation is most effective. But again, Krishna Bhagavan hasn't specified like, oh, you have to do it this time. It's better to do any time rather than not doing it, right? So those are the time we talk about it in detail. Then we talk about where to do it, right? So a solitary place, alone, not in a group, not in a too noisy place, where you can actually concentrate, and stuff like that. So that's more important for us to do that way. And we should have a whole body control. Then he described the asana that we should sit on, right? The asana we should sit on is like not too high, not too low. It should be like a grass thing, like it just meant like it should not be too hard or too soft, right? So he talks about that. Then he talks about also that one pointedness, and concentrating on sitting straight, head, neck and back should be in one line when you do meditation. So he explained all the practices how to do the meditation. Then he talk about the where we talk about Patanjali, right? So it's in Patanjali Yoga, it has given all the practices of yoga, which is actually given here too, kind of. But Krishna Bhagavan actually in the entire Gita, he has spread those Patanjali practices all through Gita. So in Patanjali 8 limb meditation, it is yama, niyama. Yam and niyam are morality, right? Ethical. You have to be ethical to even start the spirituality. You cannot go start spirituality without being ethical. So spirituality is one thing that is internal. All the other things in the life are external, right? So people can tell you about, okay, you are the nice person, you are the bad person, you are not good. So everybody will do your worldly experience. Other people can see it and will tell you your feedback, right? The spirituality is only one that nobody else knows about it. Nobody else knows about it except yourself. How spiritual you are, how ethical you are, that inside you will know. But outside, even if you try to explain somebody, or if you try to tell somebody, they cannot figure it out. They cannot take it, like how they cannot understand what you are feeling, right? So that is out of control. So only the spirituality is one path that is internal growth. Nobody will else understand if you are improving or not improving or what's going on, because it's all internal, right? So in that says, yama niyama is more morality, right? Then it comes asana, which is God here also explained the asana, how to do asanas. Then pranayam, control of breathing, right? If you guys have not written that, make sure that you know about these Patanjali Yoga too. So pranayam, control of breathing. Then it is pratihara. Pratihara is withdraw from the senses, outside world, right? So we do that pratihara. Then it is next is dharana. Dharana is one focusing, and if the focus goes away, bring it back. Focus goes away, bring it back. So dharana is focus going away and bringing it back. Then dhyana, and then samadhi. So what we are doing right now is more dhyana. We have to go to the next step, samadhi, which we haven't done it, because it's when we conquer dhyana, then only we can do samadhi, otherwise it's not going to come, right? So those one. Now with that said, all these 8 limb, these has to be there. So yama and niyama is morality that you have to have, right? You cannot go beyond, you cannot even do anything, any spiritual, even karma yoga you cannot do without having morality. If you do it, then only you can go to the next level. So after this, God explains the characteristics. What happens, what happens to you. So it is first characteristic he talks about, the mind start becoming still, right? It get controlled, it's still, so not going too many places at one time, right? Sometimes when you are, and this practice I always try to do it when my mind is going a lot of places, right? I take 2-minute pause and try to say, close my eyes just for 2 minutes and say, God, go to one thing, one biggest priority that I need to think about. Forget about everything else. And then that's how I practice to bring, making the mind still. And breathing is the best exercise. You start focusing on breathing, that will let all the other thoughts go away and you will start concentrating on one thing. So that's what he said, the mind becomes still. Then he said mind become joyful, right? And God explained in here that this joy that you get when you are doing it meditation, that's the best joy that you will ever figure out in your life. So that is, and I started getting that glimpse of it. I am not at that level where what God is talking about, but only looking forward to do meditation, that is a joy, right? That's what I'm feeling like. Okay, at least I'm going to that level where I can now say that I want to do it. And sometimes this happens that when I'm doing it, I don't want to come out of it. So that's a joy, right? When you love something, you don't want it to be ended, right? So that is most joyful, God is saying. Then he also says that if you center in reality, then you don't want to come out of it. So those are the characteristics. God explained a little bit about it. But this has to be practiced with determination. That's what he says, that yoga should be practiced with determination and with an undespairing mind, with conviction and without dispersion of spirit. So you don't bring it has to be conviction that I want to do this, right? That has to come. And then a beautiful slok that he talks about is that meditation, when you do, it is, what is the meditation is like a lamp. The fire of the lamp is in the place where there is no wind, windless lamp. So what it is, that there is no wind, so it is not even flickering, even 1%. So you think about a diya, right? And the fire is on the diya, right? Now if you have little bit air coming, what happens? That the flame flickers, right? But what he's saying, that in meditation the focus is so strong that the flame doesn't even flicker. So there is no wind. But here is the thing, want to make sure that God explained this very well, that it's not about that, okay, the diya is not even there, right? Then the flame how will the flame not flicker, right? There is no diya, no light to it, no flame to it. That's a totally different thing. You still have a flame in it, right? And it's not flickering. So that much stillness the mind gets when you do the meditation. It's so still that it is like a lamp in windless place. If the lamp is there and the flame is straight, not having moving even a single millisecond, that one is the meditation. That's what the meditation gives you. the stability, right? The stillness of the mind. So then he talks about then this is like this was slok number 19, and then he starts talking about the advice on the meditation, right? So he asks about mentally withdrawing desires and senses and advancing slowly withdrawing from external world by intellect held firm on the meditation. So here is the big thing that he said, that what happens after this? Slowly you start withdrawing from outside world. When you are doing this oneness meditation, you will not feel anything. We have heard that when Vivekananda Swami one time sat under the tree and was meditating, he meditated for so long that ant hill grew on his foot, like there were ants going around him, and the ant hill came up. He sat so long in the meditation and didn't even feel that the ants were coming. So that's what he's saying here, is that the withdrawal from outside world happens so strong when you're doing good strong meditation that you don't even feel what's happening outside. So the wind came, it was so windy, the rain came, he didn't move, and people sitting there slowly started moving, and they all left, and only few devotees stayed there to see him, and nobody had the strength to wake him up, because though ants were going on his body, and he still didn't wake up. So he was in so deep into meditation. So that's what Krishna Bhagavan is saying, that slowly that happens. That withdrawal from the world comes, and then you are so focused on your absolute, that inside the self, that you don't even think about world anymore, right? So it's a long way for us to go, but we still can practice, right, every day. So then he says that and again, this is very important thing that Krishna Bhagavan says, you have to, if your focus goes away, you have to make sure that you recognize that it's going away and bring it back, right? So for a few seconds, you thought about your Ishta Devata sitting inside you, and then 2 seconds later, it's gone. Then you have to realize that it's gone. Then you will think about something else, and then you say, oh, okay, oh man, what I'm thinking, I should be focusing on the God that's sitting inside me. And then you bring it back. So bring mind going anywhere, definitely bring it back, right? So then he talks about God or realization came to this yogi whose mind is perfectly twinkled in passion is calmness, and who is sinless. So he just talk about that what's going to happen to this meditation, the person who is doing the meditation. And then he talks about this great shlok where he says that this person sees in the self in all, and all being in self, right? Which we discussed a lot while we were studying this class. So now everything is self, and everybody that he sees itself, and also self in yourself, right? So everything is consciousness. That's what it means. Everything, the oneness comes to the world. There is no second, no other person. That's what when we do. So what does meditation gives you? That's what the answers are here in these shloks. What happens to when I start doing meditation? So God explained all this thing, and he says that it doesn't matter what mode of living you live, you still can do meditation that deep, right? It says, I work so hard, 12 to at 8 in the morning till 12 at night I'm working, or I am doing these things that I cannot do meditation, or I work so low category of work I cannot do meditation. It's not that. God says it doesn't matter. Everybody gets the same result if they start doing meditation. It's not that the person who is doing something, or it's a pujari, or he knows scriptures will get more benefit, and this person doesn't know anything will not get benefit. It's not like that. Whatever mode you have, living mode, you still get the same results when you start doing meditation. Then he talks about that golden rule, right? This yogi feels sorrow the same way, his sorrow the same way as other person's sorrow. So he feels the same way. It's not a difference in that. That's golden rule in all the religions, right? So here also God says the same thing, that this person, it's not that my sorrow is so hard and I'm so painful and I'm so hurtful and oh, you hurt me so bad. It's not that. The person will feel the same thing for others too. So because sometimes what happens is the person doesn't feel that much sorrow for himself or herself, right? So he will think the same thing for other person too, but the other person feel like, oh, okay, he is not feeling sorrow for me, but then he might not feel sorrow for himself too. But this yogi will take everybody's sorrows the same way, everybody's happiness the same way. Sometimes oh, you are not that happy, but what, some yogis are, you are excited, but the person who is on the path of spirituality, they are not that happy for a lot of things, right? Or they are not sad for a lot of things. Why? Because they are taking everything similar. So that's very important to notice that. Then then he talks about golden rule, and then it starts Arjun talking about like, okay, I understand, but this cannot be done by me. So Arjun says, no, this is not my cup of tea. Like, it's not cup of tea for us. So he says that, and he says the mind is so restless, right? The mind is not just restless, it has so much turbulence. It is so strong. I gave you an example of a dog, right? When you go and there is a puppy there, then you say, oh, okay, the puppy is restless going here and there. But you said, oh, okay, that's okay. But it's not just restless, it's causing turbulence. It's eating my shoes, eating the couches. So then what happens? You have to stop it, right? So the mind is not just restless, it's turbulent. But then it's okay that you feel like, okay, it's a little puppy, I can actually push him out of the house, but no, he's very strong, right? So then you cannot do anything. Then we talk about when he sleeps it will be quieter, but no, he doesn't sleep, he just constantly doing it, right? So that's what God is saying here Arjun is saying here, the mind is not just restless, it's turbulent, it's constant, like it's keep going on, it's never stops. And then it's the same thing, it's very strong. So I cannot do this meditation, right? So God says that God says, you are right, I definitely know mind cannot be controlled, but how to control your mind? There are two things that God says you should be doing. And I actually emphasize on these two things a lot in the class. So if somebody can share with me what were those two things, I would really appreciate. There were two things that God said you should be doing to bring mind in control. Anybody here can share that? Yeah, Raja.
Was it practice and dispassion?
That is right. So practice and dispassion. Right. Thank you, Alia. So
Can you say that one more time?
What is it?
Can you say that one more time?
Practice and dispassion.
Okay, thank you.
So it was abhyasa. Abhyas means practice. You keep doing it. And then vairagya means dispassion, right? So practice and dispassion is the thing that will bring your mind from restless to peaceful. And that's the only way to do it. So again, when I want to bring the mind to peace, what do we have to do? What do I need to do practice on? What should I do to make the mind? Okay, so there are
lot of things Krishna Bhagavan taught from chapter number 1 to now, right? So if my mind is restless, what should I practice? He says practice and dispassion, right? But what should I do so that my mind can get calm? Anybody can throw anything that you like, if you are so, if you are so restless, what is one thing that makes your mind calm? Anything? Meditation does, right? But we don't do that, right? When you are in school and something happened, really that you don't like it, or you have a lot of things to do, you have to finish 3 projects, you have all these exams that coming in the final week, right? And then you have to study so much, so there are so many things going on. How can you bring the mind to calmness, right? At that time you will not sit to do meditation, right? So I want to practically ask you that what do you guys do when there are so many things going on? How do you bring it to calmness? And I do see a lot of like you guys are very good in controlling that. So what do you guys do? Risha, would you like to share? What happens when a lot of things fall on you? How do you control?
Like go for a walk or take deep breaths or something.
Yeah. That's what you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Krish, what do you do? So many things going on there.
I don't know. Just stay calm.
Just stay calm. Or do you say something to yourself?
No,
do you do something?
Just keep doing my actions and let God handle the results.
That's what you keep saying it?
Yeah. I don't really get like stressed or whatever, because I know it'll all work out in the end.
It all will work out.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So Risha, what you share, yes, that there are something that you have to do, right? Here God is saying practice and dispassion, right? So practice what? Then practice is practicing to control your mind, right? That's what he's saying. Now to control your mind, you have to have some tools, right? God gave meditation here. God gave other things like karma yoga to purify your mind so you can control it. Then God gave something like don't get angry too much, don't have too much desires, so your mind gets calm. So God is giving so many things in different chapters. Here he's talking about, the desire has to go from the thoughts. That's how you can calm yourself down in longer run, right? And meditation is the practice that you should keep practicing, and then renunciation and dispassion will come by itself. So that's what he's trying to tell us here, right? So anything when you are too much into stress, the best thing is to, what Risha said, have a deep breath, like practice the breath, concentrate on your breathing, and then slowly it comes. And what Krish was saying is good too, like you do your action, like you have to do it, but everything will come, will put together. God will help you with everything, right? So you can do that. So that's how God explained that. Then he says, then he talks about, so mind should be under control. And then Arjun asks again that if I don't reach to the ultimate goal, then it's last few sloks, so I want to finish it. I don't want to leave this. Okay guys, so 5 more minutes for your time. So God says, so Arjun says that what happens if I don't finish, in this birth, if I don't finish the whole, reaching to the ultimate supreme self, I don't realize that, I don't realize consciousness, or I don't get to meet the God, the Saguna Bhagwan, I don't meet him. So what's going to happen with me, right? Am I going to lose how it says that, okay, people who do lot of rituals, or people who do lot of worldly things, right? If I don't do those things, because God is saying, withdraw from the world, right? So if I don't do that, and while not doing this part, if I don't achieve anything out of this, if I don't get that realization of consciousness, or if I don't get the realization of God, then what's going to happen to me? I'm going to lose this side of life too, and I'm going to lose this side of life too. What's going to happen to me? So then God explained that people who do spirituality in this birth, right, it continue to the next, and it continues to the next, right? So where your sanskara comes out as spiritual in next birth. So when he says that if you are spiritually inclined this time, then next birth you are born in a place where the parents are more, you don't have to worry about material things to gain or something, like you are rich, you have money to spend, and you don't have to worry about anything except going on the spiritual ladder. So you get a flourish family or culture around you, right? That's what's going to happen in next life. But if you, and some of the people who are very close to getting that realization and didn't get it, right, they are right there, but they passed away before they got the realization, the body is gone. Then what happens is those people are born in yogis, their parents are highly spiritual parents, and they get all their situation, the circumstances are like that they become yogi. And so that's one thing that's going to be happening in the next birth. So it's continue, it never goes to waste. That's what Krishna Bhagavan is trying to say to him. Wherever you left, you start again from the same place where you left in this birth. You don't have to. So it's not that oh, I already studied 6th chapter of Gita, can I start from the 7th chapter in next birth? That's not what he's saying. But you will get sanskara that since the childhood you will be inclined towards the spirituality. You will start early on, right? And you will continue. Like some of the people start when they are 50 and 60. And if you start early on in the age when you are 10 and 13, means you would have done something before in the last life that you are continue doing in this life, right? So some people, even though they join at 40 or 50, they start getting it really quickly. And some people are doing all their life but don't get it, right? So there is a lot of things that is included in it that's going to help, make it happen. And then he also says that sometimes what happen is there are that thing happens. Then also he what was the last slok, the superior one? Let me explain that one. I love the slok, that one. So the last slok, it is not last, it is I think the 46th, right? Yeah, 46th. So in that slok, what he says that yogi is regarded greater than ascetics, even greater than a man of knowledge, greater than those devoted to work. Be a yogi, Arjun. So he's saying to Arjun, be a yogi, means start doing the meditation. But before meditation, what he is saying that the person who is doing all these ritual things, that Arjun was worried, like people are doing ritual things to go to heaven. If I'm not doing that, I'm already giving up because I'm doing this, then what's going to happen? They will go in heaven, I will not even go in heaven. So what is that? So he is explaining this, that the people who are doing all these ritual things, they will go to heaven, but you without doing it also will go to heaven, right? So it's better than any austerity, people who are doing austerity, it's better than that. Doing vrata, japa, all those things what you will be doing, you will still reach to heaven. Then he says, the person who has spiritual knowledge, but not realization, like I know all the shastra, I have read Gita so many times, I have read this, I have read all the Upanishad, but still you are not reaching to that thing, right? So the person who is doing meditation is greater than the person who have all the knowledge, right? So that's another thing. Then he says the person who is devoted to work, yogi, is better than the person who is devoted. So karma yoga, over karma yoga, the dhyan yoga is important. But you need karma yoga to get to the dhyana yoga, right? So it's just a matter of fact how you put the ladders on. So that's what he's saying. And then he says that if you possess the faith in me and you are meditating, then you will definitely get a God realization or self-realization. And that's where he ends the chapter, right? So this is what he is talking in chapter number 6, meditation, which we got the tools to use it. Now we have to practice it, abhyas and vairagya. So this passion and practice will bring us closer to God and closer to realization. So let's continue doing the practice, even if we do the class or not. Just 5 minutes morning, if you can do meditation, that's amazing. If you can do it in the evening, that's also good. So let's keep practicing meditation. Okay, so let's close the class, and then I will keep you posted on the WhatsApp group what we will going to be doing for continue the class, or we're going to take a break. Okay, let's close. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsha Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu
Gurudevo
Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you guys. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, Raja. Sean calling.